interest of the foreign investor. The end result of that plan is to put everything in foreign hand. No, 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 we not follow it. CIP is a strategy to take every damn thing from our way. My forefather left this for me. They are a scourge and a blight upon this country. The quicker we get rid of them is the better off we would be. They only care about the here and now and not the future of our black youth. And so for their own expediency, this country they prostitute. With disrespect and benign neglect, the government so nasty. Like a big red corrupt body, a cook up and all are we. Now the manufacturing gone. Kick out this government. We better stop them now cause Antigua done. Kick out this government. The PM say you could write a bounce check. Kick out this government. Enrich yourself like thief while you get this wicked government. Calling all patriotic soldiers. Country needs you duty cause. Gird your loins and join the battle. We are gonna mash down this Jericho wall. They are abusing with parliament. Every good law they circumvent. The time for tolerance came and went. We pushing forward, we won't relent. We go kick out this government. One day. Antedans, you're blessed. You are so lucky. Your forefather left you such a beautiful country. But like desperate coke free, you cheat your birthright like trash. Give away everything you own for a fix and a little cash. You give away the asset, give away the land, undermining the black reparation. No, that can't be right. You project for the modernization of the old colonialization. No, that can't be right. We have become a greedy, low-life society. A legacy from overexposure to the Labour Party. A bunch of jobbers chasing coppers, slaving for foreign robbers. Creating new slave masters instead of business partners. Rick James rightly described this fella. He and the government no make half. He's the tallest we get in his cabinet of intellectual dwarfs. Antigua can't breed this country a drone. Kick out this government. Greed and scandal dragging this country down. Kick out this government. Name think abroad we no pariah. Kick out this government. Dirty passport scandal in Canada. This wicked government. Calling all patriotic soldiers. Country needs you duty cause. Gird your loins and join the battle. We are gonna make sure this government falls. They are abusing with parliament. Every good law they circumvent. The time for tolerance came and went. We pushing forward, we won't relent. We go kick out this government. One day.
All-Star team. my country. We were first in the Caribbean. When I sit down and I think about my land, Antigua was number one. We were blooming like a flower. Yes, we used to live together, but now we're sweeping and gnashing our teeth. We're living like ghosts, they treat us like sheep. We need a change. In St. John's tongue, we need a change. Before we tumble down, we need a change. To help with personality, we need a change. Think more about country. I say the Labor Department ain't functioning. The immigration is the same thing. We are on a hill, standing there just like Jack and Jill. We need a change, I say. We need a change. People. Yeah, the All-Star team. It is time for us to stand up. It's time for all them nonsense to stop. Foreigners coming here to we tongue. Eating with bread, we getting the crumb. Then they bring the whole family and living here illegally. When they run away with the street, our children go walk and beg on the street. We need a change. It's St. tongue, we need a change. Before we tumble down, we need a change. The look change our mind, we need a change. There's a change from crime. I say the Labor Department ain't functioning. The immigration is the same thing. We are on a hill, standing there just like Jack and Jill. We need a change. Hey, what we say? We need a change. Today, Garrett first, Antigua's first. Investors, I say, we are welcome here. But as Antiguans, we should get we share of our father's style in the sun and rain. It's like you're coming back to tile us again. They say Antiguans don't want to work, but to me it's only a joke. I don't care all the tricks they try. We go fight for we country until we die. We need a change. Antiguans first. For better and not for worse. Yes, you know what I mean. Remember the Alzheimer's team, like they come to destroy Antigua's name. Them colonial masters coming again. We won't have much privilege when everything gone all inclusive. We need a change. We need a change. Antigua, we need a change. We need a change.
We need a change.
We need a change. We need a change.
He's back.
Whoa,
Just 2 years gone, clear and the cup brimming with power. Start instilling fear, sensing the honeymoon over. Them anchor deep, now they show that they own the land. And that cannot change except through divine intervention. But it's plenty Hitler and Stalin that we will see. And every one of them dictators end up in pure misery. Is a natural law. Open up your eyes. Wherever oppression prosper, the people will rise. Sooner or later, oppressors overplay their hand. Sooner or later, they just face investigation. Sooner or later, they get exposed how they was slack. Sooner or later, people going to take their country back. And one thing I am sure, Antigua closer now than it ever was before. We'll get there somehow. Sooner or later, you're going to get yours too. Be the partner, something hanging over you. Sooner or later, the straightest road gon' reveal a bend. Sooner or later, everything has come to an end. Sooner or later, sooner or later, sooner or later. Alright, na-na-na-na-na. Beloved. In the last century, oppressors come and go for sure, but people steady. Jah know how much they can endure. Jah never give black folks more than they can carry. When they organize, he does guarantee their victory. Papa Bird and his son, 28 years they wear the crown. And though they were kings of corruption, who ain't dead pants falling down, the same fate predict for those who hear now. When the people pass their verdict, all pharaohs just bow. Sooner or later, oppressors overplay their hand. Sooner or later, they just face investigation. Sooner or later, they get exposed how they was slack. Sooner or later, people going to take their country back. And one thing I am sure,
The first time in my life I've been ever perfectly taught. I'm not blocking anything.
closer now than it ever was before. We'll get this somehow. Sooner or later, you're going to get yours too. Be the partner, something hanging over you. Sooner or later, the straightest road gon' reveal a bend. Sooner or later, everything that's come to an end. Sooner or later, sooner or later, sooner the better. Okay. Pilamale, pilamale. All right, people. Yes, dictatorship always feel like it forever. People feel the whip, unemployment causing hunger. And just when we think freedom about to break out, them just find a trick to prevent the social turnabout. And pick that about troll, make him the police headman. And because that man done sell his soul, no more demonstration. Time longer than rope, traitors will get fun. As long as there is life, there's hope, the fire will come. Sooner or later, oppressors overplay their hand. Sooner or later, they just face investigation. Sooner or later, they get exposed how they was slack. Sooner or later, people going to take their country back. And one thing I am sure, Antigua closer now than it ever was before. We'll get this somehow, sooner or later. You're going to get yours too. Be the partner, something hanging over you. Sooner or later, the straightest road gon' reveal a bend. Sooner or later, everything does come to an end. Sooner or later, sooner or later, sooner or later. Hey. Sooner or later. Dam-ba-da-ba-da-ba-day. Ra-ba-da-ba-day. Na-na-na-na-no. This is not theory, and I'm talking for talking's sake. Look in history, offenses but always get break. We ain't no different, small but with big aspiration. All that we asking is for our future, for we children. But Nebuchadnezzar and them who sign in support, a rude awakening around the corner, it all going come to naught. And then it's power, parasites behind. Reject them ungodly bastard, blemish on mankind. Oh oh, sooner or later, oppressors overplay their hand. Sooner or later, they does peace investigation. Sooner or later, they get exposed how they was slack. Sooner or later, people going to take their country back. And one thing I am sure, Antigua closer now than it ever was before. We'll get this somehow, sooner or later. You're going to get yours too. Be the partner, something hanging over you. Sooner or later, the straightest road gon' reveal a bend. Sooner or later, everything does come to an end. Sooner or later, sooner or later, sooner or later. Ba-na-na-na-na. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Bri-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da. Ha.
UPP to the rescue, 'cause it's about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. Oh my Antigua, oh my Barbuda, please Jesus, please, please deliver our we from this evil labor party. Oh my Antigua, oh my Barbuda, please Jesus, please, please deliver our we. Hear this so humble plea. From self-enrichment and mismanagement, from their bewitchment and incompetence, please deliver our we. Hear this so humble plea. From their corruption and their oppression, from their deception and their arrogance, please deliver our we. Hear this so humble plea.
Them mash up the country. Man, enough is enough. No more of the trickery. Them fool us enough. They don't care nothing about we. Only friend and family. The nation is balling. We can't take it no more.
Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Hear this so humble plea. Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Hear this so humble the disrespect, juvenile rudeness, abuse and contempt, and despitefulness. Please deliver our we. Hear this humble plea. UPP to the rescue, 'cause it's about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. Oh my Antigua, oh my Barbuda, please Jesus, please deliver our we from this evil labor party. Oh my Antigua, oh my Barbuda, please Jesus, please deliver our we. Hear this humble plea. From shameful scandals and shenanigans, lies and bribery and vulgarity, please deliver our we. Hear this humble plea.
Them sell off the country. Them a kill us with debt. No land for the poor man. But look for land scam. Sold back into slavery. Them foot pan with debt. We begging for mercy. We not take on them all.
Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Hear this humble plea. Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Please deliver we. Hear this humble plea. UPP to the rescue, 'cause it's about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about my Barbuda. Please, Jesus, please deliver our we. Hear this humble plea. Oh my Antigua, oh my Barbuda, Jesus, we thank thee for the victory. Thank you for hearing us. UPP to the rescue, 'cause it's about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you.
Okay, that looks fine.
Shooby-dooby-doo-bande, shooby-dooby-doo-bande. Dee and doy. My child, we can barely see the good we people are do to curb this corona malady because they are so few. I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. Seems like total liquidation is the only solution for our air transportation in our region. I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. When the police cry and supplication, it's not the right time for discussion. Hurricane season and Sahara just come to visit us. I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. Plenty workers get poorer, and the sun miners get richer. Your father works tirelessly and get no salary. I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. Project and port for development and destroy our environment, and who have no backyard whatsoever and no backyard farmer. Oh yes, I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. Plenty things, my child, you have plenty things to render. But COVID-19 pandemic should be your first topic. Grandpa continue to say we must unite to study, work, plan and fight together to prevent this corona malady before it become COVID-20. Plenty things, I say, plenty things, my child, there's plenty things. I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. When I see folks of all different class in terms of play social distance, mask and vape pants who never look clean, I practice good hygiene. I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. Online classes of students of us, me grandpa begin to laugh when they text the line bus and my work drop off. I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. Meetings and press conferences and Zoom. Name your slate, election coming soon. Corona news delays are dangerous and we not focus. Oh no, I have no doubt there is plenty to sing about. Plenty things, my child, you have plenty things to render. But COVID-19 pandemic have the whole world a panic. Grandpa continue to say we must unite
interest of the foreign investor. The end result of that plan is to put everything in foreign hand. No, 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 we not follow he. CIP is a strategy to take every damn thing from our we. My forefather left this for me. They are a scourge and a blight upon this country. The quicker we get rid of them is the better off we would be. They only care about the here and now and not the future of our black youth. And so for their own expediency, this country they prostitute. With disrespect and benign neglect, the government so nasty. Like a big red corrupt body, a cook up and all are we. Now the manufacturing gone. Kick out this government. We better stop them now cause Antigua done. Kick out this government. The PM say you could write a bounce check. Kick out this government. Enrich yourself like thief while you get this wicked government. Calling all patriotic soldiers. Country needs you duty cause. Gird your loins and join the battle. We are gonna mash down this Jericho wall. They abusing with parliament. Every good law they circumvent. The time for tolerance came.
This is your clarion call. This is your redemption call. Rally with your candidates for the United
We will now ask Amarilla Henry of the St. George branch to say a word of prayer. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're having a little technical difficulty with Umbrella Henry, so I'll go ahead and pray. Father, we want to thank you tonight for this session, the first of ever of its kind, the UPP Women's Forum broadcast. And so we ask your blessings upon it, Lord God. We thank you for being with us. As women, we come together to do your bidding, to do your will. And we say, let your kingdom come and your will be done in Jesus' name. Amen. So here we go. Esteemed political leader, Brother Harold Lovell, female candidates for the United Progressive Party, other speakers on the platform, and everyone listening to us and viewing us live on my UPP Facebook page, Progressive 107.3 FM and Observer 911 FM. UPP greetings to all. Welcome to the first United Progressive Party's Women's Forum rally. All voices, all perspective. I would like to start off this evening's program with a quote that is quite fitting for the occasion. I raise my voice, not so that I can shout, but so that those without a voice can be heard. We cannot all succeed when half of us are held back. Malala Yousafzai. Tonight, several proud, confident, and inspired women are here to speak to you on issues that are significantly affecting our society and the role that each of you can play in taking back our country, returning pride and glory to Antigua Barbuda. The party has brought you 4 very informative and educational virtual public meetings that really opened your minds to the stark realities that exist in our country. Tonight, the Women's Forum is here to show support to our party and the Redeem team in our quest to move this country forward. Yes. The clock is ticking, ladies and the political temperature is rising, and you can see something brewing in the political stratosphere. Sugar cake is being served on our roads. Gutters are drained. Gutters and drains are being cleaned like colonoscopies. And lands are being cleared, like when we were children, how we used to clear the ground to play marble. But amidst all this cosmetic ruckus, salaries are still late, pensioners are waiting, our youth are paying the price for ill-made decisions, families are suffering, and the current COVID-19 pandemic is an added stress. Businesses are in turmoil, and the country's image on the world stage is being compromised. I don't want to mention the toxic. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not meant to scare you, but we bring you the realities. Similarly, we must show you that hope is on the horizon with the United Progressive Party. Yes. We did it already. We intend to do it again. More unified, more driven, more focused. Antigua and Barbuda needs us now more than ever. So get your whistles, get your horns, get your flags, stay glued to your screens or radios, make yourselves comfortable. Wherever you are in the world, listen to our voice, listen to our perspectives on the issues, listen to truth, digest everything you've heard. Then take the informed decision to make a difference by making positive changes in Antigua Barbuda. Just to remind you, with all other events, we continue to adhere to the COVID-19 health protocols because safety of everyone is paramount. We also urge you to continue following the guidelines so we can combat this pandemic. Tonight, you will be hearing from a dynamic lineup of speakers. Sister Sean Nicholas, Sister Gladys Potter, Sister Valerie Hodge, Sister Shante Smith, Sister Giselle Isaac, Sister Louise Henry, Sister Pearl Quinn, and our esteemed political leader, Brother Harold Lover. And we will treat you to an extra special performance by spoken word artist, Sister Dotsie Isaac. So if you're ready, I hope you all have your boarding pass because we're taking off on this flight tonight. And if you're ready, let's go! Don't ever underestimate the importance you can have because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Michelle Obama.
Oh my Antigua, oh my Barbuda.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker this evening is ready to inform and educate us as she speaks on social issues. The UPP Forum will welcome Senator Sean, Eileen's daughter, Nicholas, to the podium. Show her some love.
Please deliver me. Hear this humble plea. From self-enrichment and mismanagement, from their bewitchment and incompetence. Please deliver me. Hear this humble plea. From their corruption and their oppression, from their deception.
Yes, we are ready. Yes. Ready to redeem, ready to take a stand, and ready to redeem our native land. That's a line from a calypso of the same name by Calypso Franco, for those of you who didn't remember. And the message is still so apt, especially for a time like this. Sisters and brothers, those of you who are here with us tonight, you who are joining us via radio or television, a pleasant and beautiful good evening to all of you. We, the women of the United Progressive Party, come to engage you at this critical juncture in our country's history, when you are being called upon to ready yourself for a mission of redemption. Sisters and brothers, we are at a point when we are all asking, how much more can we take? So my message for all of us tonight is to say, your country needs you now more than ever. We hear the cries of the young and the need for opportunities. We hear the cries of the elderly and for them to receive what is due to them. We hear the cries from the rising number of unemployed and underemployed. And for a government that once boasted of being an economic powerhouse, we wonder, why aren't these cries being heard? Instead, what do we see? We see a governing party, the Antigua Labour Party, that has mastered the art of self-enrichment for its members. To hell with those of you who are not doing well. We're okay because we're doing well. Well, at least it seems that is what they're seeming to say. Is that what you voted for, brothers and sisters? Really? Is that what Antigua and Barbuda voted for? I think not. We need a government that is concerned about putting people first, improving the quality of life for all our people. And putting people first is the core philosophy of the United Progressive Party. In fact, it was that principal purpose that guided the UPP government between 2004 and 2014 to put people first in all planning and all policies. Sisters and brothers, we hear crime reports almost on a daily basis. We need to feel secure in this country of ours. We need a government that will put priority on the police force and on the defense force, just as the UPP did during our time in office. We have a situation now, sisters and brothers, where not even proper accommodation can be afforded to our police officers. Take a good look at what is happening at our police stations. They are all in a state of disrepair, and the officers are being asked to catch here and catch there. And worse, most of the police stations are outside of the precincts, outside of the areas or the villages to which they're assigned. And all we're getting is promise after promise after promise. That is not good enough, brothers and sisters. There's another issue that affects us and saddens us. Our women are crying out for help. We hear it every day. And let us cast our minds back to 2014, when the Antigua Labour Party came to office. You remember the charity they called Share Incorporated? This was a charity that is owned and managed by MP Maria Brown Bird, wife of Gaston Brown. And this, we were told, was able to raise thousands and thousands of dollars to benefit women entrepreneurs and to offer scholarships to women who qualify. Well, I'm going to be honest. I am a blue to the bone. But when I heard so, I became excited because, of course, anything for the advancement of women, I am going to support. But I was so disappointed. My joy was short-lived. The question has to be asked, where are the testimonials of the women who benefited from this charity? Where are they? Do you know of anyone who said, I benefited from Share? Where are they? All we heard and all we know was that the husband came to the public and say, oh, we're closing down the charity because it's being ridiculed. What can go so? What can go so? So whatever happened to the money that was raised and was never disbursed? You ever thought about that, Sister Era? Whatever happened to those monies? And just last week in Parliament, the PM told us that Share Inc. is a shareholder in Point FM, and Point FM is paying monthly rentals to Share Inc. What can go so? So wait, let's get it right. What is that revenue going towards if the charity is no longer operational? Women of Antigua and Barbuda, women who are unemployed, women who are seeking to give to get that boost into entrepreneurship. You need to ask the question. The charity was intended for you. And especially at a time like that, you need the help. Go and ask about it and demand answers. Funds were raised in your name. You need to claim it. You need to claim it. You know, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we're at that point in our history that we need to take a stop and think of where we're going. You know, as I said before, there are so many issues affecting us, and you'll be hearing a lot from the speakers tonight. But we need to ask ourselves that question. What can I do to effect or to bring about that change? My suggestion, firstly, is to ensure that you are a registered voter. If you are, tick, right? If you are, just like how we have a hurricane preparedness list, I am suggesting that we start putting together our election preparedness list. Every family should have one. So just like now in the hurricane season, we're putting up Pampers and baby food and medication for our grandparents and elderly parents and batteries and sanitizers and toilet paper. Similarly, we need to start preparing our election list. That's your first order of business. And once you start, make sure that you have your voter's ID card. Once you have it, secure it. That is the first thing. And for those of you who are not yet registered, make it a priority to become registered. Find the registration center in your constituency. If you don't know where it is, ask us. We will be more than happy to direct you. And for those of you who registered and did not pick up your voter ID card, I want you to listen. Please, I beg you, please go and do so. See this as a call to national duty. The mission of redemption needs all hands on deck. All hands. And your voter ID is your passport to that ship. Your vote matters. Your vote will make a difference. Pick up your ID card tomorrow. Having done all that, we invite you now to become crusaders with us in the United Progressive Party as we seek to spread the message of redemption and hope throughout all the corners of Antigua and Barbuda. Get involved in your constituency. Get involved at every street corner. Spread the message of redemption and hope. You see, The task before us is great. We have a solid team to redeem. Men and women who have put their hand up and said, I want to be a standard bearer for the United Progressive Party. We commend them highly. But you know what? They cannot do it alone. They need us. They need me. They need you. All of us need to carry the fight with them. Brothers and sisters, are you ready for that fight? Serpent, are you ready for the fight? You better be. You better be. And you know what? I want to take a little time out to big up our political leader. Harold Lovell. Let us talk him when he's not here, but you get here anyway. What? Best leader. What a man. This is a man who has put party and country before self to lead the charge in redeeming Antigua and Barbuda. And you know how we know that he's doing a good job? How you know? Giselle moved to the top of the class. Morning, noon, and night, the attacks are coming. And they're coming fast and furious these days. But he's a strong man. He's a strong man. But trust me when I say, you do not throw stones at a tree that is not flourishing. Continue to push on, Mr. Political Leader. Continue. And having said that, we, all of us, need to be there to support him. We need to fight back with him. Harold Lovell, we, the members of the UPP Women's Forum, we want you to know that we are 100% behind of you. You are our leader. You are the only leader, and we are behind you. Antigua and Barbuda needs you, and we will be there to usher you through. Remember that. Sisters and brothers, as we engage in this mission to redeem our country, I suggest that we all become like evangelists. Let us not ask, what is the opposition doing? Rather, let us ask, what am I doing? Or am I doing enough? Yes. Encourage those who live with you to get registered and to become foot soldiers as well. Those with whom you work, those with whom you commune, get out and knock on doors. Let them know that the time for change is now. But the change will only come when all of us put our shoulders to the wheel. Antigua and Barbuda needs to breathe again. We need the heavy knee of this vindictive government off our neck. Too much sufferation. But we live in hope knowing that redemption day draweth nigh. My good people, let us keep our lamp trimmed and filled with the proverbial oil as we remain vigilant and be prepared so that whenever that call comes, we can all say, yes, we are ready. Ready to take a stand. Ready to redeem our native land. God bless you. God bless the United Progressive Party. God bless Antigua and Barbuda.
Sister Sean for highlighting. Thank you, Sister Sean, for highlighting those pertinent issues affecting all of us, regardless of gender, age, or dress. I'm certain that under a UPP government, we will demonstrate that we can do better. And as we put people first and at the top of our agenda, you don't make progress by standing on the sidelines, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is very concerned, and elderly herself is very concerned. Senior citizen. Very concerned about the pride of the senior citizens of this country. And so help me welcome to the podium, Louise, Miss Lou Henry.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I am brand new to this. Thank you. And I'm very happy that I was not the first speaker, because now I know where to trod. The Redeem team of the United Progressive Party has given me a very painful and heart-wrenching task tonight. I'm here to see if I can touch somebody's heart and conscience. On behalf of the senior citizens and pensions of this little country, Antigua and Barbuda. In 1972-73, thousands of us citizens in this country were informed that we were going to have monies deducted from our salaries and wages to pay into two schemes, the Social Security scheme and the Medical Benefits scheme. Right now, I'm dealing with the former. We were told of all the benefits we were going to receive during and at the end when we attained the ripe old age of 60. So we decided to tighten our belts and prepare for the long haul until 60, when we would receive our pension monies. Well, we went along having these monies deducted from our salaries and wages and lived in faith that our reward would be forthcoming when we, with God's help, attain the ripe old age of 60. Well, most of us are aware of what happened in most cases. Unfortunately, at this time, there are thousands of pensioners who are not receiving our pensions, nor at the time we are supposed to, and from our, nor from the time we are supposed to receive them, and from the salaries and wages deducted and paid into Social Security scheme. Now, most of us are hungry and angry, which is understandable, and I am pained and hurting for us all. This has nothing to do with party politics, mind you. It is all pensioners, black, blue, green, yellow, red, and purple. All pensioners of Antigua and Barbuda, here and overseas. Most of us are accustomed to helping our children with our grandchildren. We can no longer do that. There are many of our people who cannot work anymore and who are depending on this monthly stipend because it's not plenty money. No, it's not. To live on and to pay bills and bank, and who have not received any money nor on time to pay the bills that have cut off payment dates. Go ahead. For months. I gave an old man a ride to his home one day because he could hardly walk. And when I took him where he lived, oh my, he said to me, "Thank you very much for the lift, but can you give me $5 to get something to eat?" Oh, my God. I had to hold back tears because I could see what it took him to ask me for money. I gave him some money out of the pittance that I get and went and got him a plate of food. I know exactly what he's going through because I too am going through the same things. Mark you, not nearly as bad as him and hundreds of others here, because I have daughters and sons-in-law who make sure I have. I have 6 grandchildren and a young family. And I would like to be comfortable with the fact that when all our children's time come to get their pensions, that these difficult and dark days would be long gone. And now I appeal to you, sons and daughters, to remember that from your birth up to when you could go to work, and even after you started work, that your parents made sure you were well looked after. Now is your time. Ladies, please, forget the hair extensions and the false fingernails and all the makeup that make you look falsely nice. And the makeup that is now on the mask you have to wear. And you two gentlemen, you've been spending hundreds of dollars on all sorts of unnecessary things. Give your parents or whomever helped feed and clothe you some help, please. Now to the bigger picture and the powers that be of the Antigua and Barbuda Social Security Scheme. I'm rhyming, wow. You were given a mandate to look after the paying populace who paid into your scheme. Whose monies were deducted and paid into your scheme. What has happened? You are who we, Antiguans and Barbudans, look to for our pensions. Yes. If you do not have it, why? Tell us. Where is it?
We want to know.
Yes. The pensioners have a right to know.
Yes. Yes.
You owe it to us.
Yes, Grandma needs
Remember, we did not give it to you. You took it from us.
Yes.
Now it's time to fess up. And on time. Your mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts, and uncles are in dire straits. Living hand to mouth, and scarcely that. We are hungry, angry, and frustrated. There are bills to be paid and food to be bought. Doctors and dentists for visits to be paid for. They don't do it for free. And with absolutely no word from you. If you do not have the money, where they? You are duty bound to answer. Think of the old people who have to haul water. Yeah. Haul water. Get a bus. Come to town. And then walk to Social Security office to get their pensions, only to be told, it's not ready. I have contacts I can call to see if mine is in the wind. But what about the hundreds who do not know anybody? Oh, dear God, man. How do you sleep? Do you think of the hundreds of hungry pensioners when you're having your meals and can leave some on the plate for the dogs?
Wicked set of people.
Where are your consciences? God is watching. Yes. Whom are you afraid of? Have you sold your souls for the ungodly dollar? You may not have a pension. You may not have pensioners of your own yet, but you have children.
Yes.
All of you in the scheme are not guilty. Some of you are fairly new to the positions you hold. But there are hard questions you should be asking your predecessors.
Yes.
Please, I'm begging you, please, think about the people whose money carried you all these years. We are owed. Do you not fear God? Wait. All the monies that have been and are being paid into the Social Security scheme all this time, every day, where is it going?
Good question.
Shouldn't it be in a bank making money for Social Security and the pensioners and those who pay into the scheme? That is what you told us when you said it would be deducted from our money. It would be you'd be giving it back to us down the line. I got mine for my 2 children through pregnancy.
Go ahead. And not even that people get
And then I had to fight to get the second one, because maybe somebody thought I should only have had 1 child. Redeem team.
Yes.
You next. We are behind you 5,000%. To those of you waiting in the wings to take office, Brother Harold and the brothers and sisters of the Redeem team, please be warned and very careful. You are going to have to fix this and keep it fixed. We are depending on you, and we are going to make sure that you do. Your followers are not sheep. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Your followers, we are not sheep. We will be watching and making sure that you do what you're supposed to do. We are holding you to a very high standard. And we know you are capable and able, so you have no excuse. None at all. To you, my fellow pensioners here and abroad, let us continue praying. Only God can help us now until the Redeem team takes over. Antigua and Barbuda Social Security has let us down so low. It is gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. Good night.
This calls for a solemn moment as we reflect on the presentation by our dear sister on the behalf of the pensioners. You did a good job, sister, a good job. But the flight continues. Struggle is never-ending process. Freedom is never really won. You earn it and win it in every generation. Coretta Scott King. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we present to you our third presenter from the constituency of St. John's Rural South, championing the cause of senior citizens and improving the lives of every community. Welcome to the podium, Sister Gladys Shine your light, Potter! It's Gladys you want, and Gladys you go get. The mic needs to go off.
On my Bermuda, Jesus, we thank thee for the victory. Thank you for hearing us. UPP to the rescue, 'cause it's about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you. UPP to the rescue, it's all about you.
I declare that I'm prepared to defend what I value. I value an organization whose foundation is established on acknowledging God first. I will defend the United Progressive Party. I value leadership who puts God first. I will defend the leadership of the United Progressive Party to include my commanding officer, Captain Harold Lovell, and our chair, Lady Sister Giselle Isaac. I will defend the vessel that God has established and ordained to redeem Antigua and Barbuda. I will defend my brothers and sisters on the Redeem team. Brother Howard Lovell, Captain, thank you for making it easy to follow you by writing your vision for Antigua and Barbuda and making it plain to see. Thank you for reassuring us that if them knock one are we, it's all and it's all out war. I was just thinking out loud. Good night, everyone. Good night. Brothers and sisters, it's me again. Friends and family, it's me again. Fellow partners in this mission to redeem Antigua and Barbuda from this wicked, evil Labour Party administration, it's me again. Everyone who is ready to restore good governance to our beloved Antigua and Barbuda, to restore a righteous government who puts all the people first. I need your help. Antiguans and Barbudans, by birth or by choice, residents, it is in our best interest to restore an administration that considers all of us, that seeks to unite us towards achieving a growing nation that identifies with all of us collectively. I am one of the vessels of change. I want to change the world around me, starting with St. John's Wood South and extending to Antigua and Barbuda. This big vision can be realized, but not without your help. I recognize to be an agent of change, fundamental, transformational change, I need the help of like-minded persons who also recognize that if we do not change the course, we will be doomed. My neighbors in St. John's Wood South, I need your help to revolutionize our constituency to achieve functional community centers, effective and beneficial recreational facilities, safer, cleaner and healthier neighborhoods. My colleagues on the Redeem team, I need your help to create and implement policies that will improve the quality of lives of those we are seeking to serve. That is, all of us residing in Antigua and Barbuda.
Citizens and residents, I need your help to elect an administration that is going to put you first. Your holistic health, your development, your potential, and your vision. I'm calling on you to join the fight for our territory, to join the fight to save and take back what is rightfully ours. Antigua and Barbuda is rightfully ours. Over the past few months, taking the commitment to serve seriously, the team to redeem has been on a journey to connect with you. Many have seen us moving and working in one accord with an effort to know how we can better serve you, and more importantly, how we can work together to restore an Antigua and Barbuda we all can be proud to call home. Throughout the several constituencies we have had the privilege of visiting, the issues are consistent. The clear failures to address the poor infrastructures, the lack of water, unsanitary gutters, lack of roads, drains, etc. is all consistent in the various villages. But the alarming and heart-wrenching issue that concerns me most is the spirit of poverty that is taking over our communities, that is tormenting our families to the point of desperation. More alarming is the fact that the governing Labour Party administration appears unaware and unconcerned to the point that it is business as usual for them. Brothers and sisters, it is not business as usual for me. It is not business as usual for Captain Brother Howard Lovell. It is not business as usual for the Redeem team. It is not business as usual for us who are hit with the brute reality of poverty. But it is not hopeless. We can get out of poverty, but not without a fight. Be prepared to fight, and not without teaming up together to fight this war. Poverty leads to other issues, crimes, depression, illness, etc. The root, however, is poverty. Partner with me, partner with the Redeem team to fight poverty together. One of the sad truths of governance today is that there are so many state buildings that are falling apart. There are numerous government agencies which are not properly staffed and generally left to hang on by a thread because they do not have adequate resources to function efficiently and effectively. Let us look at Central Board of Health, for example. Yes, CBH in St. John's Wood South. Can you imagine that building at the Joseph Lane and Lower All Saints Road compound is still used as the workplace for many employees? Shame. The building is in desperate need of renovation. This is another government asset that is being neglected. CBH health inspectors should cite the building as a health hazard to the staff. This is a classic case of government neglect. Such buildings will cause the people who use them to become sick. Many of us benefited from services offered by CBH. Our children and senior citizens were able to get dental services and more. Now, that service is rumored to be moved to a different location. This building needs to be renovated for the safety and security of the staff and patients. But no, it is left to deteriorate and become unusable. And while them punish poor people with fees that would make the great Atlas Ball murder, we have students in Cuba who cannot get home. Can you imagine that? Somebody who is listening to me tonight, your child cannot get home. Not the Minister of Education, not the Prime Minister, or any member of the Labour Party government is willing to help our students get home. But the ALP cabinet, infected by madness, can raffle lands to people to take a vaccine. Thousands of dollars can be raffled to take a vaccine, yet no money can be found to help our students in Cuba to get back home. Students call to the government officials for help to get home fall on deaf ears. I said, no help from the Prime Minister, none whatsoever. No help from the Minister of Education. Mr. Minister of Education, carest not thou that our students in Cuba are suffering? To the one with the responsibility for students in Cuba who got the Prime Minister's scholarship, carest thou not that some of our students are suffering? These children have not seen their families in over 2 years. Carest not thou? Wow. Would you be so dismissive if any of your children were in such a state of dismay? Shame on you. You neglected our students, and you, Mr. Minister of Education, footstool. Why are you not acknowledging the WhatsApp messages from the students? Shame on you. They're crying out for help. Our youths are the responsibility of the government of Antigua and Barbuda. It is your responsibility to see to their well-being and their safety. Our children need to come home. They need to know that we care about them. They are citizens. Our bright young people need to know that their government cares for their well-being. This government finds hundreds of thousands of dollars to pay consultants for work on a cemetery that is yet to be. But they cannot find less than 20,000 EC to help our students staying in Cuba who need to come home. This government fork out millions of dollars for tablets from the dinosaur age that they have hardly and they haven't used them in our schools. The empty books and them. Anybody see them use them yet? But less than 20,000 EC cannot be found to help our children in need to come home. Shame upon this wicked, evil Labour Party administration. Then there's the plight of our immigrant brothers and sisters. People like my Dominican Republic-born mother and my St. Lucian-born father. The ALP, the people in this ALP administration have abused you. They have used you. They have done nothing to treat you with decency and humanity. And they are coming again with the fear strategy, putting in your minds that if the UPP wins the government, they will send you home. Brothers and sisters, what you say? That is lie. Big fat lie. I am here to pull down that evil stronghold of a lie that the Labour Party administration have perfected. I'm asking you to join me in calling them big fat liars and users. Lie. That's a lie. Work permit fees have skyrocketed through the roof under the Labour Party. Entry visa fees have risen tremendously. Getting citizenship applications settled in reasonable time have not been done. This is despite the fact that the law, based upon a court ruling, demands that such matters be dealt with in a reasonable time. They leave you hanging on by the skin of your teeth. You are left wondering what is going on and begging for a formal reply on the status of your application and disregarding the law in the process. We, the UPP, will ensure that as in the ideal of the law, that not only is justice blind, but fairness is blind. Everyone will be treated with respect. The valued culture of courtesy, fairness, honesty, and professionalism will return to governance under the United Progressive Party. Once you do right by this country, whether you are born here or you migrated here, we will embrace you. Once your desire is to live lawfully and peacefully, we will embrace you. Once you are honest and contribute fairly to our country's development, we will embrace you. So don't worry. I hear your cry. I feel your pain and your frustration. And it is for this reason why there is only one choice to redeem this nation. That is the UPP, the right choice. Bear with me a little bit. I'm going to segue and speak to my Spanish-speaking community. Bear with me. Mi hermanos hispanos, me da mucho gusto que estén escuchando esta noche. Los amo y respeto mucho, porque son gente trabajadora y luchadora, por eso los acogimos en este país y los prometo que bajo a la administración del UPP recibirán todo nuestro apoyo siempre y cuando contribuyendo al desarrollo de nuestro país. Muchas gracias, amor y respeto para todos. Continuando luchando con nosotros.
Sí, sí, sí.
The time to do what is right is always now. Brothers and sisters at home and abroad, we are called for a time such as this. Our country is crying out for us to do the right thing. Our country is depending on us to do the right thing. It is not enough that we call Antigua and Barbuda our home. Our home, what we knew it to be, is being threatened by the mangy dog administration. Next time. Our country's reputation and character is being threatened by the greedy, mangy dog administration. Yes. Our relationship with each other is being threatened by Gaston Brown and his administration, the cabinet of footstools. I learned a long time ago. Listen up. I learned a long time ago that whatever you value, you must be prepared to fight for it, to defend it. Antigua and Barbuda is worth fighting for. Do you value Antigua and Barbuda? Do you value your children's future? Do you value our elders' livelihood? Do you value your own dignity and self-worth? Take my hand if you have to. But stand with me to fight for a better Antigua and Barbuda for all of us. Stand with us. Stand with the Redeemed team to fight for a better Antigua and Barbuda. Gaston Brown must step down. Gaston Brown must step down. Gaston Brown must step down. And Darrell Matthew, do at least one noble deed in your miserable term as MP for St. John's Road South. Atone for your sins by moving a motion of no confidence against Gaston Brown. You are a blot and a blight on the development of St. John's Road South constituency. The filth is pervasive under your watch. Under your watch, unemployment is rampant, especially among our youth. Your puppet master in the mask of Prime Minister talks about millions and billions and trillions and zillions, but no talk about stimulus for all of us who are suffering, and no representation from you for any stimulus. Our sports field remain underdeveloped under your watch. Water, that very precious public good, is woefully scarce under your watch. So much so that basic hygiene needs are under threat. Of course, you know the roads are in a dismal state, so that is why you do your best to avoid driving on them. But change is coming soon.
You better believe that.
The Redeemed team will do better. The Redeemed team will always put people first. This wave of change is unstoppable. The unity, the spirit of moving in one accord in the United Progressive Party is unstoppable. The Redeemed team, led by our political leader, the distinguished Harold Lovell, is unstoppable. We can do better. We will do better. At this crucial juncture in our history, the UPP is our right choice. The only choice. With God, we are unstoppable. They say, a word to the wise is good enough. So, learn this. All who is a threat to our livelihood, I'm anointed to fight.
Come on.
I will fight for Antigua and Barbuda without fear or favor. God is on my side. Better yet, I'm on God's side. God bless us all. God bless Antigua and Barbuda. St. John's Wood South, I love you. Antigua and Barbuda, I love you. Listen to me. Again, I say, when the wicked is in power, the people do what? They mourn and they groan. And when you go through the constituencies in Antigua and Barbuda, just mourning and groaning, you're hearing. But when the righteous governs, the people rejoice. I want to rejoice. I know you want to rejoice. So let us rejoice together and do the right thing. Let us elect a righteous government, that is the Redeemed Team, the United Progressive Party. One love. God bless you.
Sister Gladys for that energetic and inspiring presentation. Continue doing the great work. And St. John's Wood South is, I'm not saying if, it's Gladys you want, Gladys you go get. Yes. So, the flight continues. I am no longer accepting things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. Angela Davis, the United. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to welcome to the podium Sister Shante, Miss Sunshine 2020 Smith. From their corruption and their oppression, from their deception and their arrogance.
Mash up the country. Man, enough is enough. No more of the trickery. Them fool us enough. They don't care nothing about we. Only friend and family. The nation is balling. We can't take it no more. Please deliver way. Please deliver way. Please deliver way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I'm not sure if I was even born yet, but I remember hearing it on the radio growing up. I can't remember the entire song either, but certain lines still flash back from the calypso. Anytime anything happens, they're blaming the young people, and they're responsible for the things that we do. Don't point fingers at we. Young people of Antigua and Barbuda, I am quite honored to be given this platform to speak on some of the important issues that are affecting us. As a young child, there was a phrase that kept ringing in my ears. Our children are the future. Our children are the future. Our children are the future. I never really grasped what it truly meant until some years later. I came to realize that young people like me would one day become leaders in the society and be authors of an incredible story about those who laid the foundation for our success. However, that vision of the future doesn't seem to obtain today. I was quite upset last week to hear our Commissioner of Police say that young people seem to be the perpetrators of many of the crimes that have surfaced of late. I said to myself, okay, you have stated a growing concern, a problem, but how do you propose to solve it? What is on your agenda to ensure that our youth, that my generation, becomes respectable men and women and doesn't go down the path of destruction? Young people say they don't want to play politics. I mean to blame them. but they want to see themselves as a priority for the administration of the day. They want to be independent. They want to be where the money resides. They don't necessarily want to sit on the corner and drink or smoke and be idle. They want to be gainfully employed, to be their own bosses, and to be of service to their country. For far too long, we have been ignored, placed on the side. Well, we no longer want to stand by and watch or wait for things to happen. We want to be proactive and make things happen. Tonight, brothers and sisters, young people of Antigua and Barbuda, I will pose some questions to the authorities on your behalf. Are we truly important? Are we really a part of the nation building? When the Information Ministry abandoned a functioning GATE program, an initiative that empowered students and teachers with tablets and laptops and efficient internet service, were you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? No. When $76 million was dollars on a non-functional ebook project that was already obsolete. Were you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? When students on scholarships have to resort to taking out loans, depleting their parents' savings, or even return home after dropping out of their academic studies because the once credible Prime Minister's scholarship program became a test of seek and not find. Were you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? When young people have to beg and run behind politicians for a piece of the rock, after being promised the opportunity to own it through the Land for Youth initiative, and when so-called investors receive lands willy-nilly and being sold prime real estate for $3 per square foot, were you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? When young people tripped and fell into crime and violence, they were sent to Comfort Hall, also known as Boys Training School out in Willie Keys. Yet, an institution of reform, if I should be even so brazen to even call it that, is allowed to deteriorate and now resembles a historical site waiting on donations to survive. Tell me, were you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? When students who are not academically inclined, who depend on their hands and vocational skills because it's their strength, are not given adequate avenues to develop their calling. Were you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? No. Young people, listen, and listen well. For the past 4 years, the position of Education Officer for Technical and Vocational Education and Training in the Ministry of Education has been vacant. Students at ABIS, the Antigua and Barbuda Institute for Continuing Education, cannot get a CVQ certificate unless they find someone outside to facilitate it, all because the institution is understaffed. Up to this year, students were unable to complete their SBAs for technical and vocational subjects because the ministry could not provide the required material, and they were forced to go into their pockets. Are you really thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? When over $20 million was blown to retrofit the National Technical Training Center known as NTTC at Nugent Avenue and transform it into a COVID-19 health facility that remains incomplete, sitting there like a green elephant, rather than making a modern and well-equipped technical facility to accommodate the many skilled young people who yearn for this opportunity. Boss, were you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? When millions of dollars were spent to refurbish the Nyasco complex on Old Palm Road, and today it resembles a colorful, deserted playground. When every young and aspiring athlete cannot get the opportunity to train because only a selected few are permitted to utilize the facility. Are you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? Yes, young people can be and are frivolous at times and will fall victim to circumstance and bad decisions. But when young mothers are discouraged from returning to school or even get the chance to graduate, but fathers don't suffer the same fate and nothing is being done to change that practice, tell me, a young woman, are you thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? No. When young people can't find employment and resources are not put in place for them to become entrepreneurs, to start their own little sweetie shop, and the opportunity might only be realized if we maneuver through yards of red tape or we check our minister, who is thinking about the youth being the future of Antigua and Barbuda? You know what? Let me stop here, because if I go on, I'll go here tonight. Yes. Brothers and sisters, young people of this country, a responsible administration should always have or be able to find solutions to problems that arise. But this can only happen when square pegs are removed from round holes. It is then we will see progress and feel change. Yes. Ask yourselves whether the current state of affairs is working in our interest. No. Young people, they are not. No. Therefore, we cannot afford to settle or to accept less than we are worth. Yeah. Young people, we need to rise up, stand up, speak up, and be counted. And if we want our piece of the pie, we must be seated at the table to claim it. That is why I am standing at this podium tonight. That is why I am supporting the United Progressive Party, the Team to Redeem, and the political leader Harold Lovell. Because I am confident that there is a seat at the table for me. I know there's enough room for you too. Before I leave this platform, permit me to say one last thing, and please keep it embedded in your mind. Last Saturday, in the Snake Pit, the leader of the opposition and representative for All Saints East and St. Luke, the Honorable Jamal Pringle, a youth like us, made a statement that is worth repeating. He said, "It doesn't matter who is on the other side. You know who is on your side." I believe that the United Progressive Party is on our side. Thank you and good night.
Shante, Miss Sunshine 2020. Well, you definitely made the young people proud with that articulate and passionate presentation this evening. We don't just have beauty queens, we have ambassadors. We have ambassadors. This is our youth ambassador. Yeah, the future. Okay, the flight continues.
Yes, enjoy the flight.
Surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher. Oprah Winfrey. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to do just that. We have a very special treat for you this evening. You know, we women do things bad. We do it good. Coming to the stage is a performer whose words cut sharper than a ninja sword. Her creativity with words make a grown man cry. A pessimist see the glass half full, and audience falls captive to her vivid imagination. She's a fearless warrior. In front of the microphone, her eloquence is riveting, and her presentation is simply awesome. Please help me welcome Dotsie, Tell It Like It Is, Isaac!
Good evening, new UPP. Good evening to our listening and viewing audiences. It is certainly a privilege for me to be here this evening and to be able to present on this platform. But the biggest deal for me this evening is to stand publicly and endorse our leader, bright, capable, experienced, measured, a captain and a gentleman, my favorite politician, Mr. Harold Lovell, and his redeemed team. Antigua is so ready for you. And if you agree with me, give me an amen. Can I get another amen? I'll take it now because I know I'm not going to get it again. You see, politics is not church. Living on your knees in prayer is not going to work. You've got to get up, get out and pound the pavement. Be a part of any movement that's moving in the right direction. This is more than an election. This is a revolution. Fighting for the heart and soul and limbs of this nation. Didn't you pray last election? How did that work for you? All of the proclamation about what some said God was going to do turned out not to be true. Hear me out. God doesn't have any problems. He is in his heaven comfortable, drinking hibiscus tea in his Garden of Eden. He's not drinking bush tea for our fever. No. Whether you're a Bible beater or a non-believer, we are all on the same boat, and this is our fight. That is why I write. That is why I have made the choice to use my voice in this war for Antigua. All this chatter about Haiti, about the French and American conspiracy. Sometimes in life, leaders get served what they deserve. All evil leaders should get served what they deserve. Sometimes street justice is moral obligation. There comes a time to start the revolution, a hand for a hand, a foot for a foot, an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. I don't expect too many amens now because the truth, it has a way of making folks uncomfortable. Leviticus says, a man who injures his countryman as he has done, so shall it be done to him. Wicked leaders terrorize. They kill without guns or knives. Their corruption and political victimization callously ruin lives. So when they fall headfirst into karma, forget the drama and study your own bar. Because Antigua and Barbuda is not too far from Haiti's downward spiral into nothingness. Our indebtedness is causing death. It is causing hunger and homelessness. And the hopelessness is real. Ask Stanford workers. Ask Liat workers. Ask the pensioners. And all of the contractors who can't get $1, 10 cents, or even a penny out of Top Dog's powerhouse treasury. They are at the end of their rope. It hangs around their necks like a noose that they can't get loose because we have a government that is murdering us. Our government's mandate is to take care of its people. But this administration misinterpreted. They took care of their people instead. And for that, they're at the top of the class, even though their leader has no class. He is callous. He is caustic. He is cruel. He's crass. I think he and Satan have morning devotions. He is a maniac of megalo proportions. A quicksilver-eating me-go-low maniac, snarling and gnarling and drooling on the attack. Gaston is mentally, emotionally, and intellectually unfit. He drives this country like he's driving a Vitz. When he spews his lies, call him out. He wants people to be afraid of his mouth, but he is a self-proclaimed dog. The Bible says that man has dominion over all creeping things that creep upon the earth. So this dog is not to be feared or revered. Whether he's on his hind legs or down on all fours, disturb his peace like he disturbs yours. He's rabid, always on the attack. When he cuss you, cuss he back. He's incapable of rising, so at times you have to go low. Get down in the gutter with he and give you some good blow. As bad as Antigua is, it could get, so much worse. Gaston Brown is like the Antichrist. He's this country's curse. Look at our healthcare. Malwin got knighted for a nightmare. Look at the Ministry of Education. At best, stagnation, but honestly, regression. Minister Matthew, well, he know that we know that he don't know what he do. You can find the Minister of Lands in La La Land, abused and used as a rubber stamp. Cutie, he has made a joke of the Office of Legal Affairs. A bunch of puppets and puppeteers, magistrate, AG, DPP, guilty of making justice a mockery. CIP has been an investment in embarrassment, a revolving door of undesirables, international scandals and domestic troubles. Poor Antigua, poor Barbuda. Land. They grab it with both hands. They tip it and they flip it. They beauty shop it and they swap it. They lease it and they don't release it. They don't own it, but they zone it. They speculate and then they deal it and they steal it. And for $30,000, they share it and incorporate it. They put a dam on it and they crap it. It's time we make them stop it, stop it, stop it. Enough has become, we can't take no more. Given another chance, this bunch of 16 could never make it right. Because when the screws in the top slack, the middle and the bottom can't tight. It is the worst time to be Antiguan in Antigua. It is the worst time to be Barbunad in Barbuda. I am convinced that Gaston Brown and his cabinet don't like black people. They hate are we? You can't see? They despise us and marginalize us. They rob us and they blind us. They treat us different at the airport and at the seaport and in the magistrate's court and in the high court. And thank God we don't have no CCJ because we would murder we in there. You have to take injection if you want a piece of land. They would never tell that to any white man or woman. Ask Kublai and the Old Road clan. You know how far their representation goes? They buy you 2 beers and they slam some dominoes. They meet you on the corner with a bag of marijuana and they leave you holding the bag. Yes. Because you have told them that is all that you are worth. And you think they're so down to earth. So cool, damn fool. This is not an occasion for pretty rhymes. We are in a season of serious crimes. The cabinet and the senator, that particular senator, are all guilty of creating the environment and all of the trappings for murders, for daytime and nighttime kidnappings. Guilty of no inquiry of the forged signature. Guilty for the blood of the customs officer. All of these crimes, but this cabinet somehow has found the time to dabble in pit holes of public restrooms. Pit holes of public restrooms. You can tell just what this cabinet is full of. Can't you smell the fumes? When he is sniffing out money, we are smelling that. The fumes of piles and piles of dog crap. It is unpalatable. And Max, the chief pooper scooper, cannot scoop the poop fast enough. Now, to all of you who live in the periphery, your silence and complicity have colored you guilty. Church leaders and the Christian Council, let this anointing be for you. Can't you smell it? Antigua and Barbuda Bar Association, you feel no sense of professional obligation to this nation, never addressing any of the crap? Don't you smell it? All you fence sitters, I hope the fence cut you. Yes. And the fumes from the dog crap choke you. Have you never heard to thy country be true? You do not deserve Antigua, and Antigua sure as heck does not deserve you. Antigua and Barbuda has become a dystopia because of your non-committal, because of your betrayal. Are you unaware, or do you just not care? See why in the beginning I asked for an amen? Because I didn't expect to get one again. Amen. Real talk makes some uncomfortable. Amen. But you see, politics is not Sunday school or church. No. Living on your knees in prayer is not going to work. This is not a Lord, I know you can, Lord, I know you will fight my battles, I'll be still moment. You can't be still. You've got to get up and get out and pound the pavement. Be a part of some movement, any movement that is moving in the right direction. This is an election. This is a revolution fighting for the heart and soul and limbs of this nation. Thank you.
Powerful poetry. That was fabulous, beautiful, marvelous, wonderful spoken words. And give me a minute while I pick up my jaw off the ground. I'm in awe. I'm in awe. Look award. The flight continues. Don't settle for average. Bring your best to the moment. Then whether it fails or succeeds, at least you know you're doing all you. You may give all you have. You need to live the best that's in us. Angela Bassett. United Progressive Party's Women's Forum is proud to introduce its next speaker to this evening. Sister Valerie, I'm a woman of my word. If I say it, I'm going to do it. Hodge, welcome her.
Oh my Antigua, oh my Barbuda, please Jesus, please deliver our way. Hear this humble plea.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Lord have mercy. The temperature rise up in here. It rise up in here. I am just so pleased that I was invited to be part of this. Good evening to the wonderful people of my constituency of Antigua and Barbuda. Good evening to my other wonderful constituents in the diaspora. I am grateful for the opportunity afforded me by the Women's Forum of the United Progressive Party, of which I'm a proud foundation member, to address you tonight. And just to clear the air, I am not running for elective politics. When people ask me why I don't run, I ask them if they see I can hardly walk. But I do have a vested interest in the way my country is run. Yes. I am troubled by those who say that they don't want to get involved in politics, especially that decisions of politicians affect every aspect of our lives. Yes. Had anybody predicted the last 16 months, nothing could have prepared me or any business person about the effects of this pandemic. We know that small and medium-sized businesses are the engines of growth in many, if not all, economies. And I am told that 1,100 small businesses have failed. These important engines of growth have come to a grinding halt, and since many of them are run by women who head up single households, many homes are impoverished. Add that to a tourism plant that was almost completely knocked out, and I recall the predictions of a senior labor officer who said that the effect on our economy of this pandemic is greater than any Category 5 hurricane. Though it is commendable that some small business owners have been able to pivot to new and innovative enterprise, in our economy, where 70% of the GDP is tourism-based, Antigua and Barbuda was mortally wounded, and 16 months later, with an administration that told us at the get-go that we already had our stimulus by way of duty-free cars, I fear that we are now witnessing a bleed-out if there is not immediate corrective action. How could it be? How is it that a country that boasted that it was an economic powerhouse has suddenly become so powerless that it can offer no comfort to its citizens? At the very beginning of the pandemic, St. Kitts Nevis was able to offer a handsome stimulus to its people. Dr. Timothy Harris told us that that ability came from prudent fiscal management. That's what it came from. As recently as last week, another support program was rolled out. You know, I almost grudge St. Kitts people. And the hurtful thing is, my mother, God rest her soul, was a Kittitian. I can own land in St. Kitts and have rights that have been conferred to me because of her. You think it's too late for me? Y'all think so? Grenada has given a package, as has St. Lucia and Barbados, but we have been told to use our savings. The cries of the people of Antigua and Barbuda are falling on uncaring ears. How sad. Nobody wants to beg. Our citizens are proud people, the ones born here and the ones we have welcomed. They are asking for a hand up. They are not asking for a handout. I know women who launched mask-making businesses at the start of the pandemic. I believe those with governmental support could have been lucrative enterprises had they been incubated and protected. After all, it appears that we're going to be masked for a long, long time. But according to one seamstress that I know, their prospects were thwarted when the rich and famous were permitted to import masks to sell to the poor. Further, she lamented that where previously she had been subcontracted to make school uniforms, because the contractor had not been paid by the government, that source of income has dried up as well. There is growing and urgent need for assistance out there. There is a growing and urgent need for good leadership. Yes. Yes. Leadership matters, people. I have listened to young, ambitious Antiguan entrepreneurs who are afraid to disclose business plans lest they be stolen. A tradesman has said to me that he's overlooked in payment lines and told that he's not supposed to be working on such and such a project because he's a known supporter of the UPP. We must work to get these knees off our necks. Yeah. Everybody must nyam, man. Yeah. Everybody must nyam. I hear government paying lip service to a renewed interest in agriculture when their budget barely covers wages. A stated renewed interest in agriculture is hardly supported by the grim fact that farmers have no water. No protection against imported goods, and none against greedy supermarkets who would, for the promise of bulk buying, drive the prices so far down that the farmers can barely survive. Imagine that. Who looks out for the local interest? Put up your hand if you pledge to look out for the local interest. Let me hear you. retired persons are suffering as well, as pensions are sometimes more than a month late. 2 months? Dear Jesus. In addition, those who have built properties for their retirement income are faced with tenants who are unable to pay and a government unwilling to assist. The UPP had produced a white paper detailing the ways that government could offer immediate help to those hardest hit by the pandemic. But as in everything else, we were soundly ignored. The people have heard and understood that their suffering means nothing to this administration. I know contractors who refuse to bid on government contracts because it is common foreknowledge to whom the contract will be awarded. That is corruption. And though I have heard more than one political analyst say that corruption does not impact Caribbean politics, I will share with you a direct quote from Investopedia, a site that deals with finances and markets. And it says, in a corrupt economy, resources are inefficiently allocated, and companies that otherwise would not be qualified to win government contracts are often awarded projects as a result of bribery and kickbacks. Further, Investopedia has this to say: the quality of education and healthcare also deteriorates under a corrupt economy, leading to an overall lower standard of living for the country's citizens. It sounds familiar to all you? Anything come to your mind? I want to tell you that just as the price of oil impacts all costs in our economy, so is the price of corruption passed on. Now I will ask you this question. If in order to get a nod for a contract, where I may not be the best suited or offer the best price, you give me a little nod and a wink for according me that contract, you think I going to absorb that? No, my friends, I pass that on to you as a cost of doing business, thereby making prices higher. A little more than a week ago, there was a portfolio of more than a dozen pictures that was forwarded to me. There was a huge farm with equipment that most farmers in Antigua could ill afford, a dam that jeered at those farmers put out of production for lack of water, and a father and son surveying. I was taken back to Soil Sisters program a few weeks before, where livestock farmer Elton Ryan had said that at the end of a day, he would sit outside his goat pen with a glass of wine, review his conscientious day's work, and contemplate how his farm could create generational wealth for his daughter. His dreams and aspirations are being smothered in the dust of batch cement plant. Raw feces have been dumped on his farm, his fences torn down, and there is continued harassment of the citizen because it appears that for indigenous Antiguans, a stake in our own land is too good for us. I hear of the plot to sabotage the 20-year-old business of Makeda Mikhail to benefit persons aligned to the ruling party. As if that were not enough, just yesterday, I heard that the senior extension officer called Makeda to advise her that a plot of land that she had paid for and fenced has a tree growing on it that is injurious to the brown farm. What is this country coming to when those who come can feel so secure that they challenge the rights of the people they meet? Must we own nothing? Are we entitled to nothing here? Danny Joseph, a livestock farmer for over 25 years and a government employee since he left school, had his fences unceremoniously torn down and his animals left to stray. His 15.5 acre space has been reassigned to persons that are not of us. I know of small farmers that have waited for years for approval for lands for which they have applied, who have been told that there's no lands available for them. But lands can be found at the drop of a hat for foreign interests. Makes you wonder if foreign interests really foreign-ended? As we witness this deliberate carving up and sharing out of Antigua and Barbuda.
Wicked set of people.
The residents of Old Road are fighting to hold on to lands that the ruling administration is willing to wrest from them. Lands for which there are hundreds of applications by villagers for farmlands. And that is not all. The farmers in the Table Hill Garden better be on alert, because BDI is on their land as well. Just recently, our esteemed political leader, Harold Lovell, shared that in the Ease of Doing Business Index, Antigua had plummeted to 113th place of 190 countries.
Shame, shame, shame.
We can't call this fallen. This is Kavanakoon. Is how the word goes, Sister Sam? When the UPP was in office, the country's ratings improved from year to year with a reduction of bureaucratic hurdles and improved efficiencies. Under the current administration, our ranking has declined from year to year. As a matter of urgency, we need to take steps to reverse this trend. We are clearly moving in the wrong direction. So, as a matter of urgency, we need to remove this dis-ease of doing business, especially among small and medium-sized businesses in Antigua and Barbuda. I use my company, Shirley Heights Lookout, to illustrate the hardships we endure and have endured for 39 plus years. Shirley Heights Lookout, for those of you who may not know, is the twin of the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. We opened our doors on the 1st of November in 1981. Then we had no running water, no electricity, no telephone service. We harvested what water we could and purchased by the truckload. Despite the fact that we transformed a crumbling wall to an edifice of which every Antiguan and Barbudan can be proud, and are part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and among the top 3 tourist attractions on the island, we still have no electricity, we still have no running water, and we continue to communicate by cell phone. What a disgrace. There is a desalting unit at Pigeon Point, a spit away from us, from which we could purchase the excess water that returns to the sea. But there is no pump to put that excess in a water tank on top of a truck. What can go so? What can go so? You see this disease of doing business for local entrepreneurs? I am sick and tired of asking for assistance to make our business profitable by facilitating green energy, because the total reliance on generator power is cost prohibitive. It's always one cock and bull story or the next. We have information from the World Bank. And yes, in my family, I have people that know people. And in one telephone call, we were able to ascertain that there is financing available for businesses just like ours under the caption Sustainable Cities. But the World Bank does not get out of bed for paltry amounts that would satisfy the needs of small businesses like ours. They deal with countries and nation states and multiples of millions of dollars. And then there's assistance available from and got through the Kuwait Fund. Why has there been a reluctance by government agencies to assist if it is indeed is believed that small business is in fact the engine of growth? On one of the occasions when, in the interest of safety, I asked that solar lights be erected all the way to Shirley Heights Lookout, I was told that persons need dark spaces for stargazing. And further, wait, listen to this. They need dark spaces for stargazing. And further, that bright lights on the way to Shirley Heights would confuse the turtles. The day I see a turtle on the road to Shirley Heights Lookout will be the day that I know that my master has called me home. Because I don't understand what a turtle will be doing up there. But the honest thing though, the honest thing is that right at Pigeon Point are the brightest lights you would want to see. Maybe the turtles down there come out of the water wearing sunglasses. There's also the vexing issue of the booth at the Interpretation Center, where guests to Shirley Heights are charged EC $10 for locals or US $15 for tourists for the privilege of being allowed to pass, even if they want only to come to Shirley Heights and not to other areas of the park. Previously, our patrons would be allowed free access with the understanding that we would give them a receipt of evidence that they had been bona fide customers. I have fought this since the commencement of the erection of that same gate with little result. I have contended that there is no equity. Any toll gate ought to be cited, if there is to be equity at all, any toll gate that there is to be put down ought to be sited at the top of Horsford Hill and at Cobb's Cross corner. For to do otherwise gives an unfair advantage to those businesses that are located on the hill before the gate and those businesses on the flats before the dockyard gate. That gate functions for Shirley Heights Lookout as a barrier to trade. It also allows officers of the parks and their employees to deny entry to patrons of Shirley Heights. I want some bright young lawyer to tell me if that is just or equitable and whether such actions constitute restraints of trade.
Wicked set of people.
And you know, when injustice and inequity are allowed to continue unchecked, they erode individual rights bit by bit until they become the norm. Shirley Heights has been asked to provide the names of guests to our restaurant. We resisted on the grounds of the right to privacy of our patrons. Had we complied, would that have become the new rule? That is where we are in this land of ours. And I say, watch out. I stay woke, as my young people would advise. So, COVID-19 pandemic created hardships and heartache for all business. If I ever entertained the sin of pride, that gone. I used to boast that I begged unashamedly for my church and my party. And now I beg unashamedly for forbearance regarding the payment of debt. I have learned to say, these are my present circumstances. This is not my history, and it is definitely not my future. I also respond when persons inquire after my well-being that I'm above ground and moving around, and I give God thanks and praise for that. I still see and suffer the inequities of our system. Though I've been told that Shirley Heights Lookout represents the gold standard in COVID regulation compliance among restaurants, my numbers are less than many businesses that are smaller and indoors. I complained to a tourism official that businesses in English Harbor had been allowed live entertainment while live music was still hushed in our establishment. His flippant reply was that 2 restaurants in English Harbor that have been allowed music because they service the yachting community. I never knew that that was a market from which I was banned. He went further to tell me that it's a small band playing some daddy music. To which I replied that my bands can do that too. There are businesses that have continued unabated during COVID. Business that drive away police officers when they tell them they're breaking the law and advise them that they have permission from the higher-ups. Yet a business that has endured 2 lockdowns and is the gold standard is constantly under threat. My business can operate safely, and we have debts to pay too. So I end with the dis-ease of doing business for local investors. I hasten to say here that my problem is not with the persons who come, fall in love with Antigua, and come here to set up business and do so with efficient haste. My problem is not with you. My problem is with an administration for whom the plight of the local investor is of no import. I am haunted by the fact that 1,100 businesses have failed. Was not one of them considered worthy to be saved?
Have mercy.
Not one considered too big to fail? It makes me wonder if a rumor I had heard some years ago that Shirley Heights Lookout was to be taken away from the current tenants had some truth. And while I have your attention, we're going to be 40 on the same day that the nation of Antigua turns 40. It would be a fitting birthday present if we could receive a lease for the property. Surely it cannot have taken that long to do. So I call on my constituency of Antigua and Barbuda and those of the diaspora for your support. I call for the support of the bandsmen and their sound engineers who haven't had a job since COVID began in March 2020. I call on vendors, taxi drivers from every political side and from none who over the years have known that even in the quietest months, Shirley Heights Lookout was a sure source of work, to stand with me and add your voice to mine.
Yes, yes, Carl, yes.
In this climate where local investors are given little regard, indigenous people accorded no value, I call for us to band together for our common and just cause. Let us stand with the people of Barbuda, with Makeda, with Elton, with Danny Joseph, and with Kublai and the people of All Saints East and St. Luke, the people of Booby Alley, and all other persons who feel that there's a concerted effort to displace and replace us. Just as the picture of the man and his son spoke to me of legacy and generational wealth creation, so have we inculcated in the ears of Patsy and Eddie and Russell and I that we must build on our foundations.
Yes.
We must, none of us, ever vote for what we might get. We must vote to keep what we have.
Yes.
Respect, Mother Kublai. Respect. So, I wholeheartedly endorse the leadership of my political leader, Harold Lovell, and the team. I encourage you all to stand with him, with us, as we redeem this, our beloved country of Antigua and Barbuda. Brother Harold has demonstrated that he has a steady and experienced hand, and he has a bright and effective and enthusiastic team that are winning the hearts of the electorate.
Yes.
I would rather stand with a team that builds bridges for all Antiguans and Barbudans and our Caribbean brothers and sisters than one that creates stumbling blocks for those who oppose and crush the aspirations of even those they're supposed to represent, who are not part of a small privileged circle. Be part of the mission. We can do better, people. We can and we must.
country. Man, enough is
Thank
enough.
you, Sister Val, for
No
that
more of the
deeply
trickery.
felt and informative
Fool us enough.
presentation.
They don't care
They say who
about we.
feels it knows
Only
it.
friend of
And as a businesswoman for many, many years, you're more than competent to represent the businesses in this country. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The flight continues. You will be wounded many times in
the
your life.
nation is balling.
You make
We can't
mistakes.
take it no more.
Some people will call them failure, but I have learned that failure is really God's way of saying, excuse me, you're making a mistake. It's just an experience. Just an experience. Oprah Winfrey. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Women's Forum is pleased to present the chairman of the United Progressive Party. Hold on, I'm not finished. Sister Giselle, they tried to bury me, but they didn't know I was a seed. We please welcome her as she speaks on social, political issues that perpetuate gender-based violence. Giselle, eyes up. They tried to bury you. Hey!
Good night, sisters and brothers. Here, there, and in the diaspora. I want to say a special shout out to Sister Sam and wish her a happy birthday. And happy birthday, Sister Sam. And I also want to give our condolences to Sister Cleon, Sister Dr. Cleon Athels. You know, she suffered a recent bereavement. I'm very pleased to be part of tonight's historic event. And I am so proud of the sisters and brothers of the Women's Forum for their enthusiasm and support for this rally. Good night, Akil. After tonight, I hope that more of you will join us and be part of the good work the forum is doing. I'm here to talk about an old problem, why it continues to plague us, and how we can get serious about combating it, if not solving it altogether. Folk wisdom says that everything in Antigua and Barbuda, no matter how bad, is just a 9 days wonder. Well, 9 days have passed, but I am still wondering what we as a society are going to do about the problem of domestic violence. Because we have talked about it quite a lot, but little has actually been done about it. Last month, a mellow Sunday evening was shattered by the news that a woman, another woman, had been killed by her partner. The story was even more horrific for us as females because we realized that this was the second attempt that we knew of on the woman's life, and that things had played out as many had feared but known they would. What are we going to do about it this time? What good can come out of this incident? And how will we use it to prevent another sister from losing her life? As girlfriends, wives, mothers, sisters, aunts, cousins, colleagues, friends, our existence is bound up with that of men, whether we have a man or not. So what affects one must affect all, because as the elders say, what had teeth? Had tongue. My tongue is hurting tonight, sisters and brothers, and so I must speak my hurt. I am hurt that the disregard and disrespect of women starts at the top in Antigua and Barbuda. I am hurt that the individuals and the institutions that ought to advocate, protect, and defend us are the very ones that make us so vulnerable to violence. I speak specifically of the Prime Minister, the female parliamentarians and their male colleagues, the police, and the church. and I intend to speak frankly. He did not start it, but the Prime Minister certainly perpetrated and perpetuated the violence against women when, early in his first term, he used the coarsest schoolboy language to advise Dr. Cleon Athil, an upright citizen, mother, teacher, counselor, and gender advocate, on social media no less, that she needed iron. It was replicated in his overtly sexual and degrading remarks about Dr. Jackie Quinn, again on social media. The apologists will say, oh, that was meant to be humorous. That's just words. And the cynical will say, play ball, take rubbers. I say, it is behavior unbecoming in any adult male. And gallingly so in one who sits in the Prime Minister's chair.
Put them in their place.
But the degradation did not stop there. Only 2-3 weeks ago, the nastiness dropped below floor level. I don't want to be crude, but I do want to be plain when I say that social media insults about whole and size of the ocean have no place in any interaction between a young woman and the Prime Minister of this country. And when another member of this first family threw rancid oil on the fire, I thought of the song that asks, how low can you go? And I answered, no lower than this, I hope. Another song says, if the top slack, the middle and bottom can't tight. And so we live that reality here, where not even the presence of 2 women in the cabinet seems a deterrent to the Prime Minister's common and callous behavior. But then again, why would he stop when neither of them has ever lifted a voice to chide him or to advocate for the women who need it most?
Shame.
Here they are, one an attorney, and the other the director of a charity that is supposed to uplift women.
Shame.
And in the wake of Althea Henry's killing, what did we hear from them?
Nothing.
Nonsense, nonsense in one instance, and dead silence in the other. I say nonsense because MP Samantha Marshall knows better. She must know that charges against the alleged murderer ought never to have been dropped after the first assault, no matter who begged for leniency. One of the saddest instances of my entire life occurred one day when I encountered a man walking in my neighborhood. I saw a few cattle up ahead, and since the man was carrying a long stick, I stopped to ask if the animals were his. Quite sadly, he said no. Then he explained that he was looking for his daughter's body in the bush, and he was Vincia James's father.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
To this day, the recollection of it breaks my heart. And yet, Minister Marshall, attorney at law, even with no body to bear witness, the police charged Vincia's ex-partner with murder. Did they not? Yes. So why are you misleading vulnerable women and hurting families, making them believe that the hands of the police and the court are tied when the victim refuses to testify? My God, as a former Minister of Gender Affairs, you should know that the victims very often are not only beaten up, but beaten down, psychologically damaged. Somebody must be their voice when all the resistance has been choked out of them.
Have mercy.
And MP Maria Bird Brown. Well, maybe I shouldn't expect anything from you anyway. You're so poor that all you have is assets. But I did expect better of the Minister of Justice, Cutie Benjamin, who saw it fit to pardon and to release from prison a man who murdered his wife in cold blood, in broad daylight, in a place as public as the Epicurean supermarket parking lot. Cutie Benjamin took the prerogative of mercy from the Governor General and onto himself. Where was the mercy for the man's wife, Mr. A.G.? And I do expect plenty from the police, who are sworn to protect. Yet, in too many instances, officers of the law are the very ones to break the law as they break in girls and young women. The disgrace of it. And the court goes along with what amounts to further violence, allowing a child of 12, 13 years to discontinue a case of statutory rape against a police prosecutor of all people.
Outrageous absconder.
It is not in the court's place to bring about forgiveness. The business of the court must be justice. And why is it that the police can never find the runaway girls, but Mary John always can find them? Why is it that the adult men who pervert and prostitute these girls seem never to be prosecuted? What kind of message does it send when big hardstone men routinely get away with seducing and harboring children who cannot consent? But then again, the Minister of Gender Affairs, Dean Jonas, went on state TV to say the reason that children don't cry rape is because they've given consent. If he can say that, well, where can we look for help but to the hills? It makes no sense for us to look to his colleague ministers either. One of them was unfazed when the girl pursuing him admitted to being just a year younger than his son. Listen, I know your boss once said, because he said it to Power, don't tell me nothing. Once they're 16, I'm not breaking any law. But the Bible says, while everything is lawful, not everything is expedient. Is it too much to ask that 16 or not, once they're still in school uniform, you allow them to complete their childhood? When it comes to the abuse of women, I know not to expect help from these ministers' satellites either, especially those better known for the laying on of hands than the laying of irrigation lines. Yes, comrade, you keep telling your lies about me on your new radio station. I'll be sure to keep telling the truth about you on my old radio station. So, where is the church in all this? Nowhere, it seems. With all the violence, in word, in deed, by commission, by omission, we have strained our ears to hear from the pulpit, thus saith the Lord. The Lord God could have called 10,000 angels to do his bidding here on earth, but he chose to bring salvation instead through a woman. I take that to mean that women are important to him. Yes. Why are they not important to the church? Preachers and priests, apostles and reverends, they're all on social media. They read the papers. The parishioners tell them what is going on in the society, with all forms of violence being unleashed against us, from cabinet to parliament to media. They know. So why is nothing said in defense of 90% of your congregations? The women who clean the church, who cut the flowers, who wash and iron the robes, who make up the choir and fry the fish and barbecue the chicken. It can't be that men and women who work for God are afraid of the displeasure of men and women who don't work for him, can it? Sisters and brothers, this redeemed team and this united progressive party, you have got to change the status quo. You've got to rip it down and burn it up. We, the conscious and the committed, have got so much work to do to protect the girls and women who are being subjected to physical and sexual violence, to psychological, emotional, and financial abuse in every stratum of this society across the length of this country. Not because they don't make the news, it's happening. Yes. We have to put in place the human and other resources to do better for the women and girls who need help. With billions collected in CIP money, even though now, it's not billions again. But there is absolutely no excuse for Antigua and Barbuda not to have a safe house where women and children can be sheltered, even on a temporary basis, away from their abuser. And if MP Marshall and MP Jonas and MP Bird Brown never thought of it, surely MP Malvin Joseph should have. After all, he is the Minister of not simply health, but of wellness. What are you doing, sir? What are you doing to keep the women of Antigua and Barbuda well? Surely, how a woman lives should be much more important to you than where her remains are buried. Team Redeem must also see to it that their new Attorney General closes any loopholes in the law that might allow the prosecutors any dereliction of duty or the perpetrators any escape on a technicality. We don't need any more cases being dismissed on the fiction that 13-year-old girls convinced an adult male that they were actually 18 so that they could spend the night on his premises. The new AG must do what is needed to shorten the time in which such awful crimes are investigated and prosecuted too. Justice delayed is more than justice denied in these instances. What has become of the young woman who was taken to Five Islands, reportedly by 2 police officers who had their way with her at gunpoint? Has that case file been lost? What of the young mother who reportedly hanged herself, albeit without rope, a few months ago? Nothing to report? The first form student who was being messaged by a senior police officer? Nothing there either? For too long, just too damn long, the society has been content to let things die down, sometimes literally, to look the other way and pretend that thing did not happen, either out of embarrassment or guilt. It's time enough we stop, people. It's time enough we have an administration where women's issues are recognized as human issues that affect men too. An administration where peace is not enough, but where justice precedes and even supersedes peace, and where every woman and girl, every single one, feels safe at home, safe in school, safe at work, and safe on social media. This Antigua Labour Party has failed to even try. Political leader Harold Lovell and Team Redeem, I have every confidence in you. Together, we can do better. Thank you.
Wow! Thank you, Sister Giselle. They tried to bury me, they didn't know I was a thief. Tonight you really did leave no stone unturned. You came firing on all cylinders this evening. Thank you so much for remaining steadfast to the cause. Keep pressing on, my sister. Keep pressing on. Okay, we're almost to our destination. Never limit yourself because of others. Limited imagination. Never limit others because of your own limited imagination. Dr. May. Ladies and gentlemen, our final female speaker is the United Progressive Party candidate for the St. John. Rural North. She believes in working hard and fighting relentlessly for the advancement of her constituency. Her motto is, it's all about you. Please welcome Sister Pearl. It's all about you, Gwen Williams.
It's all about you. UPP to the rescue. It's all about you. UPP to the rescue. It's all about you.
Woo! Woo! Good night, Antigua and Barbuda. To the persons watching via the World Wide Web and those listening via the airwaves, good night. Rural North people, good night. It's your girl, Pearl. Tonight, we're taking it back. We are sick and tired of the bull crap, so we're taking it back. I was rapping with a group of young people, and they were all griping about how they were promised jobs and lands for their vote. And after they voted for the Labour Party, they got no jobs, no lands, no representation. So one of them said to me, Miss, since last year, me no work, And me have picnic for feed and the government now help me with nothing. So me take back my vote and me give them. Of course. Hey, I was happy to hear that. And I said to them, look guys, you can feel confident about giving me a vote. We will create the opportunities for you to get jobs in a variety of areas or to become entrepreneurs. And we will not only provide financing through our loan guarantee program, but we will also provide support for you for the first year or two. We will make lands available to you at affordable prices. And let me say this to the bright young man that I met the other day, who said he voted for Labour for the last 2 elections. I hear you when you say, why should politicians get lands at concessionary rates and they are getting big salaries, free utilities and other perks, and we have to pay market rate that most of us cannot afford? I hear you, my brother, and I agree with you. It's unfair, and we will level that playing field. So let's look at that so-called charity called Share Incorporated that purchased property from the government for $100,000, $70,000 for the building and $30,000 for the land on which Point FM and Escape Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub sit. And these are owned by the Prime Minister's family members. The property was valued at $1.5 million back then. So the people of this country were deprived of $1.4 million on that purchase. Add to that the fact that this charity, which is supposed to be a non-profit organization, is clearly operating as a commercial entity and is likely to get significant profits from any sale in the future, given the development that is being done by the global ports and the Chinese. Let's not forget also that Share Incorporated is owned by the Prime Minister's wife, who is also a Minister of Government. And Share Incorporated is a shareholder in Point FM. And Point FM pays rent to Share Incorporated, as reported by the Prime Minister. Oh God, my head hurt me. My head hurt me. It is a hot mess of nepotism and conflict of interest. And we are supposed to be okay with that? Hell no! Hell no! We're taking it back. And you better believe we are going to get to the bottom of this when we take governance of this country. And we will let the chips of justice fall where they may. You have my word on that. We have had enough of this self-enrichment crap, and so we're taking it back. Liat. Oh, Liat, oh, Liat, oh, Liat. Every time I talk to an ex-Liat staff, my heart breaks. The suffering is palpable. Many have spent almost all, if not all, their lives working for Liat, and then to be suddenly unemployed through no fault of their own, and not to get a penny in severance. And even the few who are working now have not been paid for months. My God, what a terrible injustice. Banks are calling them daily, sometimes 2 and 3 times a day, about their mortgage payments, their car payments. Many of you would have heard the ex-Liat staff on the radio and Observer AM. And she said she was on the brink of going into a depressive state. And her story is not unique. This is real stuff. This is real suffering, my people. And then to add insult to injury, they are cursed and abused by the Prime Minister, called bad eggs and rotten elements. And as one of the ex-staff said to me, that those statements could very well spoil their chances of getting other employment, because prospective employers may think twice about hiring a person who may be a bad egg. Then he tries to bully them into taking 50% of their severance and threatens them with talk of take it or get nothing. How can that be right? What kind of cruel, evil leader curses and humiliates
his people like that sounds like the devil incarnate to me. And all those members of his cabinet who supported this obnoxious and vile conduct are just as bad. But my dear Liat staff and ex-staff, we make a commitment to you that we will secure the required concessionary financing to pay you your severance. That's what a government that cares about its people does. This government has showed time and time and time again that it does not care about you. They only care about your vote at election time. But the Liat workers are sick and tired of your abusive chat, and they are taking their votes back. I could write a story about my experiences as I traversed the constituency, but it would be a very, very sad story. So much suffering, so many hurts and angry persons, and many of them regretful and disappointed. Small and medium-sized businesses are folding, and many are still operating at a loss. Others are barely making it, keeping their heads above the water. A businessman said to me, many nights he would lie in his bed and cry as he saw no hope in keeping his business open. So he spoke to the parliamentary representative about the situation, trying to get from him what the government planned to do to help small businesses to prevent closure. And the representative told him, pray. Yes, pray. The man said he was so angry, he told him, pray, pray. I pray they vote your out. He used some of the choice words too, but I won't say them here. Now let me say this. I believe in prayer, but prayer without works is dead. It is dead, and clearly the representative has no solutions, and unfortunately, the man had to close his business. Had the UPP been in power, the outcome might have been different. Because part of our economic recovery plan was to pay $500 monthly to landlords for 6 months in the first instance, and to give a reduction in the utilities. We would have done something, not just throw up our hands in the air and say pray. Recently, there have been a number of house break-ins in the constituency. So some constituents spoke to the parliamentary rep about getting duty-free concessions to bring in surveillance equipment, cameras for their homes. They said, he told them, just put up the signs and pretend you have the surveillance cameras, even though you don't really have the surveillance cameras, and that will deter the criminals. No, what is that? What is that? This is equipment that can protect lives and livelihoods and can aid in the capture of criminals. Just last week, I heard the police commissioner talking about getting more surveillance equipment and cameras for the city because they were helpful in capturing the perpetrators. Why would the representative not make a case on behalf of his constituents? It's not like they were asking for duty-free concessions on big ticket items. You know, I would have made such a vigorous, robust, persuasive argument on behalf of my constituents that the cabinet would have no other choice but to grant the concessions. But I understand why he's reluctant to go to the cabinet for concessions. I believe it is because he doesn't want to be reminded that the government can't be giving away revenue when it has a loan of $127 million at 6.25% interest to repay. That includes an amount of $6 million to purchase the deluxe building to bail him out. And bear in mind, the interest over the 15-year term would amount to about $3.26 million. So you're really looking at $9.26 million. So it's okay to squeeze every penny of tax out of the people who are paying you a salary to represent them.
to bail you out. And you can't make a justifiable case for a minimal amount in duty-free concessions for your constituents. This is wrong on all levels. On all levels, and it is so reprehensible. But this is part of the Labour Party's MO. Keep them compromised. Keep all of them with dirty hands. So none of them will have the moral authority to speak about corruption, to say, no, this is not right. It's a part of their self-enrichment, corrupt culture. And this is just another hot mess of nepotism, conflict of interest, and corruption, and it stinks to high heaven. Let's talk about that deluxe building purchase. At a time when so many persons are suffering, not knowing where the next meal is coming from, not knowing how they're going to pay their bills, or how they're going to keep a roof over their heads. $6 million is being borrowed to purchase a building to bail out a cabinet colleague. Do you know how many unemployed persons could have gotten at least $500 with that money? At least 12,000 persons. Or how many government's creditors or landlords or vendors could have gotten a little part payment on the millions owed to them? Or how many small businesses could have even gotten maybe a one-off payment that might have helped their business to survive? Or some compensation for your constituents who suffered loss of household items as a result of the floods last year? I join with Karine Ashie and say, I wonder how our leaders sleep at night. Do they ever dream while poor people scream? To the grassroots cries, they become unconscious while family and friends they patronize. I want to say to you, sir, I heard you a couple of days in Parliament saying that it's ridiculous for people to say the government doesn't do anything for small businesses when you have the Entrepreneurial Development Fund. And just the day before, an application was received by Cabinet, so it shows that people are applying. Are you talking about that same Entrepreneurial Development Fund that has only disbursed $2 million in over 3 years from a fund that we're told has $5 million? Is that the same fund, sir? Is that the same fund that so many persons, including Comrade Washi, who said they applied for the fund and were denied? That is the same sham fund that clearly has no money? Please, sir, you have absolutely no moral authority to talk about funding of businesses by the government. And you were a part of a government who would have borrowed money to bail you out. You have no moral authority, sir. And I suggest that you be quiet. Say nothing. Please, sir, you need to be quiet because you do not have the moral authority to speak. I wonder if he would have the gall to go to the same people asking for their votes. You think they would be okay with that? Hell no. They're taking their votes back and they're giving it to me. My people, there is a reason why the Labour Party is keeping you impoverished and suffering. It is not by chance. It is by design. They will use the resources of the state to impoverish you, and then they abuse you and laugh at you because they think that you're too blind to see what they're doing. They have deliberately sown and cultivated this venal culture so that when they keep you poor and hungry and desperate, they will be able to buy your vote cheaply at election time. As Sparrow says, if you catch them broken, you can get their vote for nothing. My people, do not prostitute your vote for a few dollars. They are not giving you their money. It's your money that they would have stolen from you, that they give you back a small fraction of to get you to vote for them again. When these investors give them money for their campaigns, they in turn have to give them large tracts of land, tax waivers and concessions, which would have otherwise been collected as revenue to pay you. Just look at the lopsided agreements that they have signed with foreign investors who get the whole hog
and the country gets a little piece of the tail. Look at how they had money to continue to build their state-of-the-art headquarters during the pandemic when they are struggling to pay your salaries, struggling to pay social security pensions, did not pay their creditors in months and in some cases years, and offered no stimulus or relief package to you. Think on these things, my people. Think on these things. My dear people, the country has already fallen off the precipice. Another term of this administration will be a tortuous descent into the deep abyss. We have to take our country back. The United Progressive Party and the Redeem team, headed by our captain, Brother Harold Lovell, with your support, are ready to take back the governance of this country. Together, we are taking back our pride, our reputation, our lands, our money, our dignity, our decency, our prosperity, our future, our power, our vote, our voice. We have had enough of this crap. And in the name of Jesus, we are taking it back. Amen and amen. God bless you. Thank you, Sister Pearl, for that very lively and most informative presentation. The people of St. George Road North are indeed proud of you and can't wait to welcome you today as a new member of Parliament. You are a pearl of great value, a pearl of great worth, pearl to the world. It's all about you, constituents. It's not about self-enrichment. Well, we have before we reach our destination, we're certain we're going to land shortly. From their corruption and their aggression. Fasten your seatbelts. Please observe the no smoking sign. Don't stop now. Keep going. The next time someone makes you feel so winning and excited. I start from the top. Don't stop now. Keep going. The next time someone makes you feel so winning as you are, perhaps you're getting too big for your britches, say to themselves, silently, Marian Wilson Williamson, our final speaker this evening, needs no special introduction. He's the captain of the show! The one who will start the victory in the next general election! Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, from across the diaspora, please welcome our political leader, Brother Harold. No retreat, no surrender, lovers!
Well, good night, good night, good night. I just want to say what a wonderful night it has been tonight. So let me say a special good night and welcome to all the persons who have come here tonight. Oh, I mean, I'm in awe. I am literally dumbstruck. I mean, I listened to every single speaker, and I was really moved. And so I just want everybody to give a big round of applause. And so let me just say to the wonderful women who spoke tonight, we are all proud of you. Really, really proud of you. And let me just greet my colleagues, the members of the Redeem team. Let me also greet the executive members of the United Progressive Party. I want to greet all of our supporters. And I want to also reach out to those who are listening or watching out in the diaspora. Omaima, Reed, and all the others, we know you're watching.
Next week.
And whatever you say, we know that you are with the United Progressive Party. I want to also say that tonight's meeting, which has been so thoughtfully executed, is indeed historic. And I want to thank you for the way you've come out in support of the party, the way you've come out in support of the Redeem team, and humbly I say, the way you have expressed your support for me as leader. I truly appreciate it, and I am indeed humbled. Now, I also want to thank Brother Baldwin Spencer, who has been an advocate for this event and who has really supported it in every way possible.
Yes, yes.
Well, as they say, women's affairs is everybody's affairs. And I also want to believe that the involvement of our women, as you've shown here tonight, is testimony of what will come in the future. We expect that the powerful women of the United Progressive Party will play a most important role in the new administration going forward. And I just want to also say that we will continue to demonstrate our love and our respect for the sensibilities of our women, for the abilities of our women, and for the ideas of our women. Yes. And let me give you the absolute assurance that the United Progressive Party today is stronger, more focused than we have been for a very, very long time. And this is due in no small measure to the role that you, the women of the United Progressive Party, have played and that you continue to play, giving direction and being the wind beneath the wings of the United Progressive Party. Now, you would know, based on all that we're hearing, that it seems as though they're cranking up for some kind of election. But I want them to know, and let there be absolutely no doubt, that we are ready for any election that Gaston Brown calls in this country. Now, we're hearing the game plan, because we know what the game plan is. We heard it from red mouth spokesman. The red mouth spokesman, he is the one who said that their game plan is to discredit the leaders of the United Progressive Party.
He says so, he says so.
You know, so what they're trying to do is to find all kinds of ways to create issues where there are no issues, to create doubt where people are clear. But I want to ask the people of Antigua and Barbuda to stand firm. I want to ask the people of Antigua and Barbuda to realize what it is that they're trying to do. We heard just the other day when he tried to undermine confidence in our brother Sherfield Bowen up in St. Philip's North, St. Philip's South. We heard him when he tried to undermine confidence in brother Sean Bird in Rural East. Well, he came and he tried to, with some sort of story, try to discredit me. And you can see this is a liar on steroids. This is a liar on steroids. And then 2 weeks ago, we heard him with trying to discredit brother Anthony Smith in All Saints West. And then over the last week now, he came back trying to create division between myself, Sister Giselle, and brother Jamal Pringle, the esteemed and distinguished representative for All Saints East and St. Luke. But I want to tell him, and I want to tell him clearly, and I'm telling him, and if he's not listening, I want you who hear to tell him that all his efforts, whether to create any form of disunity, confusion with his lies, they will fail. They will fail. We will confound his lies and we will confuse his knavish tricks. My brothers and sisters, I want to tell Gaston Brown and his band of misfits, those tactics will not work. We have a solid team. We are more united than ever. And I want him to know that the people have seen through him. And when he's trying to damage and doubt our credibility, the people know that he has no credibility. No credibility at all. None whatsoever. Now, yesterday morning, he was on the radio. And now he coming to the public and he pulling figures out of his unmedicated brain. He using lies again. And we have to attack this man and his lies. Because I have said it, and everybody knows the kind of person I am. My preference is to have a clean campaign. I say what our policies are, we stick to that. But let me make it clear. If you come with any attack, we're going to attack you back. We're going to match you shot for shot. Because we are not afraid of you, Gaston Brown. And I want you to understand that the United Progressive Party, we right now, we are ready to carry the battle. And we are ready to redeem this country and to bring justice, fair play, prosperity to Antigua and Barbuda. Imagine talking about how we overborrow and we bring Antigua to the brink of a failed state. Imagine this failed experiment. Talking about we bring country to brink of failed state. My brothers and sisters, I just want everybody to understand what is really happening here. He is talking and saying that during the global crisis, that as finance minister, the country shrank by 21%. All right, over 3 years. But why doesn't he pay attention to the fact that in 1 year, he shrunk the economy of this country by 17%. In 1 year. Unprecedented in the history of this country. And then if he's going to blame COVID, tell the people why is it that we are the second worst performing economy in the entire Western Hemisphere. The 8th worst in the entire world. And the worst in the OECS. So how are you going to blame COVID? What happened to St. Kitts? What happened to Grenada? What happened to Dominica? We are the worst performing in the entire Eastern Caribbean. Because in the budget presentation that he made earlier this year, one single year, and he talking about I am failure. Shame. Let me tell you, my good people, and when is similar 5-year period. That's fact. I can tell you that even as Minister of Finance, in terms of initiatives, the Construct Antigua and Barbuda initiative, which up to now you're relying on, that happened under my watch. And we were able to come out of the global recession ahead of all the other OECS countries, head of the class, after being hit by not only the global crisis, the crash of Stanford, over 2,500 jobs directly were lost, and we held it together. Yes. We held it together. We had the crash of British American at the same time, and we held it together. So I want Gaston Brown to know that when he talk about borrowing, we are not afraid to say if we borrow for the airport is there for you to see. It is the face of Antigua and Barbuda. And when you and your ministers strutting up and down, tell them a UPP build that. When you bring your travel agents and you say what a wonderful airport, tell them UPP build that. When you bring all your other friends and you're boasting, tell them UPP build that. And we can go on and on in terms of the things that we have done. And when it comes to transparency, we did not hide the Article 4 report prepared by the IMF. We allowed people to see what was happening. But you hide the report. Why are you hiding the report? Because you want people to believe the lies that you're pushing out. But an objective report, just the other day, last week, they put out the report on St. Kitts. And they said a lot of things about St. Kitts, gave St. Kitts glowing reports, saying they're doing really well. Show the people of Antigua and Barbuda Antigua's report. Yes. That's it to do. Yes. Study that. Yes. So I want everybody to understand, brothers and sisters, that this is a crucial time. Yes. The election that is coming is for the heart and the soul of this nation. Because we have a pathological liar who calls himself Prime Minister. And when he should be studying the suffering of our people, when he should be looking for ways to alleviate the hardship of our people, looking about our students, looking about the elderly and their pensions, making arrangements so that we can all have a better life, he is on the radio like a little girl. He's on the radio like a child playing with crayons. He's on the radio talking foolishness, ignoring the plight of the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Right. We say shame. Shame. And if we have 5 more years of this failed experiment, my brothers and sisters, the people can take no more. We want to know, where are the accounts for NAMCO or NYAMCO? Where are the accounts for the National Housing and Urban Development Corporation? Where are the accounts? Where are the accounts? My brothers and sisters, we have seen a government that is so careless with the people's money and is only concerned with the enrichment of his family, and his friends. So much has been said tonight about that Share Incorporated fiasco, that example of nepotism and corruption, that example of conflict of interest, where you elect a man, prime minister no less, and all that he can do is see how he can enrich himself. Now, you've heard about the purchase by Share Incorporated of that land with the building down at Lower North Street. But it is an act of deception of the worst kind. And I'll show you why. When you look at the cabinet decision, the cabinet decision spoke about this. They said, Cabinet also noted the request to purchase 10,000 square feet of land. Cabinet also notes that the foundation is prepared to spend more than $200,000 to repair and expand the structure and to make it a center for the benefit of the entire community. The building, the cabinet decision says, will continue to be utilized for community purposes. It says the cost of the land, given its intended non-commercial use, is reasonably priced at $3 per square foot or $30,000. No, I want you to also remember that on the 8th of February 2017, an article appeared in the Observer newspaper. It was an article written by Linroy Samuel. The headline says, Gaston Brown says Share Incorporated is suspended. Now he went on to say that the Share Incorporated, in the same article, had $100,000 in ACB and CUB Bank. He said the money would be given to the VC Bird Trust to establish a museum at Tomlinson's. Where is the museum at Tomlinson's, Gaston Brown? Ooh. But listen to this part now. He went on to say, bear in mind, how much did he say they were prepared to spend for community purposes? You listening? 200,000. He said they're going to spend 200,000 on the building. Well, hear this now. He said the other money that they have, he said 200,000 will be given to a group doing a media facility. Now, when you hear a group doing a media facility and community purposes, the impression he is giving you is that money is going to the community for people who are doing some sort. But Point FM is right there now. And we want to ask him the money that he collected for charitable purposes. And charitable purposes has a very clear definition. It is for the promotion of education, the promotion of health, the well-being of people, giving scholarships to young people and doing those things. Those are charitable purposes. So when you take money that you've collected for use helping in a charitable way, and you use that money to give to, as you call it, a media group, we call on you tonight, name the media group that got the $200,000. Name the media group that got the $200,000. So you're out there collecting money on the Share Incorporated and making people believe that that money is going to be used to empower people. And I'm asking all the good people of St. John's City West, ask yourselves, if that land at a concessionary price had been used to develop a community facility for the benefit of the community, you have Harmonites right there. You have Hell's Gate down the road. You have so many opportunities. You have the cruise port to the east. You have the cargo port to the west. Wouldn't this be a shining example for the community to uplift the City West community? And that's why I say the next man for City West has to be Brother Alistair Thomas. We can no longer go with somebody who is from a ghetto. He like to boast and say he come from ghetto. He like to boast and say he yam mango for breakfast and green fig for lunch. But he forget where he come from. Yes. He has forgotten where he come from. He's one of those people, he climb up the ladder, and when he reached up, he not clear, he don't kick it down. He haul him up. He haul it up. Because when you kick it down, he afraid somebody might put it up and come up. So he don't kick it down, he haul it up. So, these are real issues, my brothers and sisters, that we have to think about. And when you look again, farmers are suffering. People can't get water. Farmers bawling they can't get water. And he has no shame to be boasting with his $1 million farm. Best tractor, best backhoe, best generator. And people in Pint can't find food to eat. Did we in Pint, I'm asking, did the people of Pint elect a representative only for himself, his family, and his friends? No. Or did you elect someone hoping they would have made your life better? And the same thing applies to the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. No form of relief or stimulus package for the people. No sense of love for the people. No compassion for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. It's all of self. Brothers and sisters, we need to make sure that we change this administration under the leadership of Gaston Brown. We have to get rid of this administration, which is driving the people deep and deep into poverty. Because I ask anybody, do you feel better off today than you felt in 2014? Do you feel better today than you felt in 2014? The answer has to be no. And that is because the policy of the leader of the country is not a people-focused policy. It is a policy that's based purely on self-enrichment. Self-enrichment. And that is why when you go to Jennings, you have $600,000 per month being $600,000 per year, $600,000 per year being paid to family of the Prime Minister, over in Jennings. Can you imagine that? $600,000 a year is going over to the family of the Prime Minister. They got the land down at North Street for little or nothing. They exchanged, this is his baby mother now, exchanged land out at Friars Hill at a difference in price between 71,000 and 600 and odd thousand. That is how they do it. You have his son who benefited at Long Bay with $2 million easily. Nobody has benefit. The land right now is in Bush, Cassie. No benefit for the nation. On the UPP, that would have been a state-of-the-art public park. Everybody would have enjoyed it. We would have had bathroom facilities. We would have had restaurants run by local people. That is not what they are focused on. They are only focused on building themselves, building a nest for themselves, and enriching themselves and their families. My brothers, I want you to understand that this state of affairs can no longer be allowed to continue. And so, I just want to end tonight by praising the women of the United Progressive Party. This has been a wonderful night of education and enlightenment. I want to thank the powerful and the strong women of the UPP. I want to say we honor and we respect you and the strength that you bring to the table. I want to say that we recognize, and this is in a broader sense, we recognize the contribution that has been made by the women of Antigua and Barbuda to the political life and to the development of this nation. And I give a full assurance that the United Progressive Party, I give that full assurance, I give a solemn promise that the women of this nation will be honored and elevated. The women of this nation will take their rightful place.
Yes.
We will make certain that all the women in the party, the women who are patriotic, and all the women who want to see this country advance, they will take their rightful place.
Yes.
And this is a day that we can all look forward to. And so, my brothers and sisters, let us say once again, tonight has been indeed a wonderful night.
No retreat.
I want to thank you all sincerely from my heart. You have indeed warmed me.
Yes.
You have made me happy.
You're welcome, sir.
And I want to encourage you to keep on keeping on. And one more time, let me hear it. One more time, let me hear it. One more time, let me hear it. No retreat!
No surrender!
No retreat!
No surrender!
No retreat!
No surrender!
One love. God bless you. God bless Antigua and Barbuda. My brothers and sisters, forward ever, backward never.
Wasn't that a smooth landing? We have arrived! We have arrived! Thank you, esteemed political leader, brother. Love it. No retreat! Once again, you have clearly demonstrated your capacity to lead this country and to lead this nation. The Women's Forum supports you and your team in our quest to redeem this country, raising our flag high, raising it boldly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we've come to the end of what can be deemed a very exciting and informative virtual rally produced by the United Progressive Party's Women's Forum! Tonight, the UPP sisters, the pearl of great value, the pearl of great value, sorry, the pearl of great value, Valerie, I can't go so. Sister Giselle, they thought you were, they tried to bury you. Hallelujah. Gladys, shine your light.
Yes.
Shante, our youth voice, youth ambassador. Louise, Miss Lou, you tell it like it is. Sean, Eileen's daughter. Nancy, you tell it like it is. And our political leader, Brother Harold Lovell, came out roaring. If we didn't know, we know now. Then, if you didn't know, then you were informed tonight. If you had any doubts, I know you're truly convinced. And if you sat on the fence, we sincerely hope that you were enlightened and move to the right choice in the next polls and elect the United Party. Women are leaders everywhere. You look from CEOs to housewives who raises her children and heads households. Our country was built on strong women, and we will continue to break down walls and defy stereotypes. We need women at all levels to change the dynamic and reshape the conversation. Make sure that women's voices are heard, understood, and heeded, not overlooked and ignored. We cracked the glass ceiling in 2004, so there's no limit to what we as women can accomplish. Let me remind you all, go out and register or collect your voter's ID if you haven't done so yet. Be a good neighbor and take your friend along. We cannot afford another term of incompetent Antigua Labour Party. No. Your inactive participation, your vote will make the difference, and it will be the decisive factor. You can make the change, but you must go out, get registered, get your voter's ID card, and when the day comes, go out and vote. Thank you so much for tuning in. Special thanks to the production and technical teams and all the minds and talents that merged to ensure this 5th virtual public meeting was a success. Thank you all, the radio stations, the broadcast meeting, that broadcast the meeting live, 107.3 and 911 FM. God bless you. Good night. And have a good
This is your clarion call. This is your redemption call. Rally with your candidates for the United Progressive Party. Hey! The United Progressive Party is on a mission with a mandate from every constituency. Failure will never be an option in a quest to rescue this country. Let's rally with the team to redeem this land that means so much to us. Let's rally with the team to redeem a country that should always come first. We have a new agenda, a dynamic leader, young people with vigor to take us through. The country needs us more than ever to keep our flag in high esteem. Let's rally with the team to redeem. I say we rally, yes we rally, yes we rally, yes we rally. We rally with the team to redeem. Come let me rally, yes we rally. Come let me rally, yes we rally. We rally with the team to redeem. We rally, yes we rally, yes we rally, yes we rally. We rally with the team to redeem. Oh, we rally, yes we rally. Come let me rally, yes we rally. We rally with the team to redeem. Brothers and sisters, it's time to rally.
I was trying to